For this project, you're going to need a piece of paper, something for color, I suggest crayons or colored pencils, and a regular drawing pencil. You also might want to have something to help you draw a circle. You don't have to have it, but it can be helpful. You can either work with your paper as a full sheet, keeping it in landscape, or you can turn it and fold it over like this and work on half a sheet of paper. Again, you'll need it in landscape if you go with half. This is a pretty detailed project, so half a sheet of paper is just fine. But go for a full if you want to challenge yourself. Either freehand drawing or with something to trace, put a circle in the middle of your paper. This is how we're going to start our eye. Carefully trace it or draw it using your pencil so that you can erase if you need to. So now we have the center part of our eye. We need to add the other sides now. So turn your paper so it's going portrait. This will help you draw a little bit better. Find the middle part of the top of that circle and trace up with your finger and put a dot. Don't go all the way to the end of your paper. Draw a line from that point, kind of a curved diagonal, down to one side of your circle, and do the same on the other side. So it looks like a curved triangle at the top of your circle. Now turn it the other direction and do the same thing. So find the center of that circle, come up with your finger, add a point, and use that to help guide your drawing. So from one side with a curved diagonal down, in another curved diagonal line down, and now check it out. You've got an eye. We need to add a pupil. Remember, the pupil is the black part of your eye. So using a curved line, and I apologize for the glare there, one curved line and another curved line create a long, skinny oval. Or you can be creative if you want to change it up. Your pupil could be any shape you'd like. We also want to add some highlights in the iris, and the iris is the colorful part of your eye. When light hits something that's smooth or shiny like an eye, it reflects off. So adding a few spaces where we will have some white will really make our eye look smooth and stand out. Now let's add some scaly texture. Check out this lizard. What are the shapes of his scales? Do you notice how they're smaller around the eye and get bigger as they move out? Do you notice how the value between the scales is darker than the actual scales? And check out those highlights on the eyes. Beginning at the top line, start adding scales. They can be any shape you'd like, but kind of make sure that you leave a little bit of space between them. If you need to go back and look at the lizard, you can, or look up some other images of dragons, lizards, or snakes. I'm going to speed it up here, so for the sake of time, but you're going to work all the way around the eye, adding scales, and you're going to go from small to large as you work your way out. Go all the way to the edges of your page. Have your scales go off of your page. And again, as you move, get bigger. And make sure that there is a little space sometimes between those scales. That way we can create a value change. Now it's time to add some color. This is the fun part. I recommend finding multiple values of a color, but if you don't have that, you can again always change the pressure of what you're working with. I have some dark blues, and I'm going to pull some different values of oranges. I also recommend finding colors that really stand out together. Orange and blue are complements, so they're going to create a lot of contrast. Shade your pupil in nice and dark to begin with. Take your time. The harder you work on this and the more detail you add, the cooler it's going to look. So shade it in nice and dark And then in a second, I want you to watch how I change the value in my iris. Again, the iris is the color part of your eye. The pupil is the dark part. Leave those two highlights white. Again, watch how I change value from dark to light to make my eyes really stand out. You can play around with value change here. Again, notice how I have dark around the outside of my iris, and now I'm going to add some dark around my pupil. But I still have that light orange on the rest of my iris. And value change really helps to add the illusion of texture, and it really helps to make your work stand out. Remember to leave your highlights white, so again it looks like that eye is shiny and reflecting light. Take your time on this. Now let's work on our scales. Oops, I forgot. Adding a black line around your iris will really make it pop too. Again, I'm creating contrast now by adding a very dark line, even darker than my orange. Let's create some more contrast. Look at the spaces between your scales. You're going to want those to be darker. Again, you can push harder with a crayon and lighter, or you can select several different values. I've got a nice dark blue and a light blue here. So I'm going to go between my scales with my dark and really fill it in to get a good, rich, dark color. Having it dark and then the light on top is going to make my scales really pop and add that illusion of texture. And we're making this look the way the dragon would feel, like scales. Once you've added your dark, you can shade over with your light. And I'm gonna speed up this video here. You will not color this fast. Again, this project is pretty detailed. It's going to take you a while, but the longer you take and the more effort you put into it, the better your result is gonna be. So have fun. You don't have to use just one color. You can change up your values, you can change up your colors. It could be a rainbow if you want. Have fun with it, be creative, and take your time. Try incorporating more value change in your dragon eye picture. Going around your scales with darker colors or around your eye will make things really stand out. You see how I'm using this black colored pencil to outline around the whole part of my dragon eye. It's almost like putting eyeliner on it. That makes the eye really pop. Now try going around your scales. I used cool colors on my scales. I might even try adding a different cool color, like a green. This is your project, and it's your time to explore how value change can help you add texture. Take some risks, have some fun, and be creative. I can't wait to see what you make.